It is 12:59. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans transactions coming out of the bye week, returning to practice but remaining on injured reserve. Wide receiver Julio Jones, wideout Racey McMath, and safety Dane Cruikshank. The Titans also released outside linebacker John Simon from the active roster. Titans moved up to the 2 seed in the AFC after the Ravens lost to the Steelers on Sunday. Tonight, Monday Night Football is in Buffalo. Bills host the Patriots, and a New England loss would shift the Titans back up to the 1 seed. Kickoff is at 7:20. You can catch the Westwood One coverage right here on The Zone. Coaching carousel continues to spin. Oklahoma has its man and Clemson defensive coordinator Brent Venables, who worked as an assistant under Bob Stoops at OU from 1999 to 2011. And today, Miami announced its firing of Manny Diaz and hiring of Oregon coach Mario Cristobal, who reportedly will sign a 10-year contract and have the largest assistant salary pool in the ACC. After championship weekend, Bama took the 1 seed in the college football playoff. They will take on 4 seed Cincinnati in the semifinals. Georgia, the 3 seed, after losing to Bama in Atlanta, they'll take on Michigan in the other semi. Both games on New Year's Eve as the Vols going bowling in Music City, playing Purdue in the Music City Bowl. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone, recounting a harrowing weekend for the hitman here. He almost got again by his. Oh, he's back. We're getting his camera straightened out. He sits over in the same chair as two giants. So when he comes in every day, he's got to adjust his camera.
Blaine, I realized how you feel on Thursday, Friday doing it with Will. I had to do the same thing.
Oh, did you? Yeah, but, I'm sure too anyway. I like my chair low so I can be at attention with my elbows and everything else, so I stay squared up. But, yeah, man, I got the booster shot. Yeah, my wife set it up for 4 or 5 o'clock on Saturday. Yep, I got that booster, and I got boosted.
Bulletproof now,
yeah,
though. You
but
travel
not like
the
the
world with Bug
last
Rising.
time. I was just a little, temperatures up and down, cold, feeling cold, but then hot flashes. So, yeah, but 24/7. Yeah, I was begging and praying that I'd be ready to go today. So, yeah, I took some Advil right before I came in here.
Oh, you'll be fine. Advil will fix anything.
Nah,
yeah,
but
you're good.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit shaky, but yeah, a lot better than I was yesterday. Man, I just laid around like a bump on a log all day. It was miserable.
That's your bye week, though. You were supposed to do that.
Yeah, it was perfect
That's
timing.
fine.
That's why I set it up for, just in case something happened. Yeah, so everything was all good, man. So, hey, the Titans, didn't they move up in the standings or no?
Hey, man, it's just the way you plan it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were home on the couch like you, moved up. They could be back in first place after tonight.
Oh,
If the Bills beat the Patriots, the Titans are back in first place. Now, that's a big if. The Patriots have been the hottest team in football, but the Bills can beat them.
Yeah, that's what we should rehash. What was our predictions going into the season? Do you remember?
Predictions for how many wins?
How many wins? Do you remember, Lucas? How many? I think I said 10 or 11.
I think most betting lines were 9, 9.5.
I think I said 10.
Yeah, the betting lines were under 10, which we
Yes,
all laughed at.
I said 10. Because I remember that. That's why I said one more.
I think 11 is my default pick. I think I've picked 11 like the last 3 years.
Do you remember what you said, Lucas?
That was before I started putting Call Your Shot down and actually remembering it.
That wouldn't have even been a called shot, but I'm sure we would, because when the schedule came out, I might even have a printed schedule somewhere where I could go back and look, because I made marks on it, and I'm kind of a hoarder for notes.
Yeah.
But I just recycled a bunch of paper. I may have pitched it, but we talked about what we thought they would do.
Yeah, we went through it. I know I said 10. I'm positive.
Are you sure you didn't say 11?
I don't think I did.
Because there were a couple of games that you were kind of stuck on, but I don't know why. But I don't know why I thought we all said 11.
Oh.
But I don't get paid to think around here.
Well, you have to. You have to. No, I said 10. I'm going to just say 10. And they're 2 away from that. So I think I lost that bet.
Well, the nuttiest thing is this. So they've lost 2 games in a row, and it's a couple games you didn't think they would lose, and they lost the games. And so they're 8-4. So the Ravens lost to Pittsburgh. That made the Titans the number 2 seed. They can be the number 1 seed if Buffalo beats New England tonight. They're still the top seed in the AFC South. They got a 1-game lead and a head-to-head, which is essentially a 2-game lead over Indy. Indy would have to finish a game ahead of them to win it. So the craziest thing about all this is everything is still in play for this team. Everything. They just got to get some people healthy. And, Lucas, if you want to go ahead and play the sound effect, this happened today. That's the sound that we play when someone leaves IR.
Oh, that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
I asked him just find something, and he found a sound called, isn't it called ta-da? Ta-da, and it basically says that, yes. So the ta-da sound plays, that means ta-da. It's funny if you just say it. Ta-da. Ta-da? Am I? Ta-da. And now I don't know if I'm saying it. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
All right, just, okay.
Are we up online today?
I don't know, man. Maybe I got a booster and don't know about it.
Twitter.
Julio and Dane Cruikshank and Racey McMath, who we hadn't really been talking about, he's been on IR for a while. All of those guys are in the ta-da. They're in the 21-day window to return. They are in that. So that's now from, 18 down to 15 people on IR. That's good news. You could literally be at number 1. You're certainly still leading your division. So after all the bad stuff that's happened, the thing I keep coming back to is they're still 8-4. They're first place in the division. They're essentially a 2-game lead over the Colts. And the nutty thing is, we've asked this question a couple times after bad things have happened with this team. It's like, but would you have signed up for where they are now? And I think most people would have signed up for this.
Oh, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, really, to be honest, eight wins with all the injuries. Man, I can't wait till they get back. And they took, as you mentioned, some guys off the IR, but that doesn't mean they'll be available.
It does not.
Oh, I wish it did, man. Ta-da. Man.
You can't mock the sound. The sound means, come
Dang.
on now.
Oh, these guys, man. Jeez. Ooh, man. Vrabel and them can only go so long in coaching guys up. Eventually, having the backups as starters, they'll show their chink in the armor of, that's why they're the backups. Most of them. Not all of them. And that's what's making it difficult for Tannehill at this point in time at the receiver spot. They gotta get one of those guys back. Just to have them out there for the threat, even if they're not putting up big numbers.
One of the things that you've always said is, as long as everybody is kind of playing in their slot of as good as they can play, that's when a team has, and you didn't really say it like this, but we'll get to talking about a guy and you'll say, well, that guy's a backup. So his talent level for a game, for the second half if somebody gets hurt, but eventually the other team will figure out, okay, that's why this guy's a backup. Breon Borders is an example.
Or you figure out why a guy maybe should potentially be a starter, maybe with another team.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Borders played and he played a good game and you're like, he played good game, but I noticed some stuff. And if I noticed, then that means defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators noticed it and they'll attack the same thing with him. And they did once he played extended minutes. So this team has had a whole bunch of dudes who are playing up not just one position, some two, some three positions, really.
Yeah.
So the 8 wins is remarkable when you think about that. And everybody has a certain level of talent in whatever system that they're in. Sometimes a guy goes to a different system and he's more suited for that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of the things, and I've tried to learn a lot of things that you and Dice talk about, especially on pre and post game. But you've always said, there's 53 guys. Everybody's in their spot for a reason. Sometimes they can play above their spot for a little while.
Right.
But most of the time, eventually it shows like, oh, okay, now I know why that guy's a backup.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're on the backup to the backup to the backup in some position.
Yeah. Well, it shows how much talent is out there
Yep.
and affordable as you're so elated that the USFL will be back into play.
Oh.
So that gives some other guys
They're
some
using
opportunities.
the old team names, too. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't know they were using the old team names. Ooh, the New Jersey Generals.
Yeah, they're bringing back the old team names.
Yeah, Herschel Walker going to be out there?
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, no.
He looks like he could still play.
Oh, no.
He might be the best player in that league.
Yeah, but yeah.
50.
Yeah, that was a fun league. That was my dream was to make it to there.
To the USFL?
Yeah, I thought that's where I would have a shot. Yeah. Yeah. When it came out, when was it? In the 80s or so?
Yeah, the USFL was an 80s league, mid 80s.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Maurice Carthon from Arkansas State played in it. Doug Flutie played in it. Herschel Walker, as you mentioned.
Carthon was eventually with the Giants, right?
Yeah, then he played 11 years with the Giants and won a couple Super Bowls. But yeah, that was
Yeah, so that was kind of the goal because, it's like, oh, man, well, maybe I got shot at the USFL.
And then it folded after
Yep.
3
Then
years.
I was like, oh, I'm screwed.
For people like Lucas, you wouldn't remember this, but that league was legit.
Oh.
It was a legit football league with a bunch of Jim Kelly was in it, and Sam Mills was in it, and Reggie White was in it, and there were so many Hall of Famers who played in that league, and not everybody was a Hall of Famer, but literally these are some of the best players in NFL history, and they played in a different league. Steve Young was in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were so many great players, and a guy like Lucas, you could read books about it or watch the 30 for 30 that they sued and won $1 or whatever in the end for antitrust. But they could have kept that thing going. They made the cardinal sin, though. They tried to move it to the fall and compete with the NFL. Nothing can compete with the NFL.
Yep, bad move.
That's a bad move. And that was even a bad move, 30-something years ago. Now, nothing competes with the NFL. Like, fat guys in suits getting drafted. Hugging the commissioner gets better ratings than, and I'd say fat, big people, big guys, 300-pound guys, just big dudes hugging the commissioner gets better ratings than like NBA playoff games. That's how big the NFL was. And it wasn't that big then. I mean, it was big, but I mean, at that point, Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, the NBA was big then.
Yeah.
And baseball still hadn't fallen off a cliff at that point, which, by the way, we're a sports talk show. We haven't even mentioned this. Baseball is locked out right now.
Oh, I did. That was my, what's the name? Call my shot. Yeah, or something, but last week. Yeah.
You did. It's had one mention, the Hitman's.
Yeah, I just brought up. No, but see, that shows how much they, people don't really care. That I think a lot of people just believe that it will last till, whenever, March or whatever, and they'll be back ready to go. I don't, I think they believe it'll be worked out.
I would like to think that, but I honestly think it may take them missing some games.
Man, boy.
Because they're coming back off pandemic and everybody's down a few bucks and owner-wise just because they couldn't put people in the stadiums, and the TV deals in baseball aren't like the TV deal for football. It's a lot of regional and stuff and local stuff and Valley Sports and all that.
They still signed some guys before that lockout, though.
Oh, my gosh, they threw money
they sure
around like
did,
crazy.
didn't they? Ooh, man.
And if you're one of those guys like, hey, man, I got my money.
Who's it, Scherzer? What's the left
Scherzer.
pitcher? Yeah, oh, my gosh.
Hey, man.
Oh, man, I think he was almost $40 million a year. It was only a 3-year deal.
Just sit here on all this money. Yeah.
I would have said make sure you also pay $40 million of that first year up front.
Signing bonus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't know what's going on with this lockout.
I want to love baseball. I watch Cardinals games every night during the summer. I want to love it. I do love it. I mean, I love Cardinals baseball, and I grew up playing baseball. So it's the one sport that I still really miss playing, and it was a long, long time ago. But I just wish they could get out of their own way. We all knew this was coming. They knew it was coming. I saw a graphic the other day, and it was how much the salary cap has increased. Did you? I should have just printed it and saved it. But in the NBA, it was over the last 10 years or so, the NBA salary cap was it was by far the highest. The NFL was second. The NBA is printing money. Those dudes, everybody makes 20. I've never seen a league just print money like the NBA. Everybody makes $10 million. Dudes you've never heard of get signed, and you're like, I've never heard of this guy. He just got $17 million a year. I don't. The NBA is amazing for that. So they were up the most. The NFL was second. Hockey was ahead of baseball in how much the salary cap has risen over the last however many years. So if I'm a player, I'm like, yeah, man, we got to get a bigger piece of the pie. And so here we go, locked out. I feel like this is going to stretch on. And for all the junkies like me who just want to believe something good's going to happen, just wait till it's time for pitchers and catchers to report, and it's tumbleweeds blowing through, Jupiter, Florida down there and out in the desert in Arizona. Then I'm going to start to get pissed. I'm just telling you. I'm pre-pissed.
We're going to see H-Town Mickey.
I'm pre-pissed right now. This wasn't even on the script for today.
I know. But speaking of pissed, though, how pissed are Georgia Bulldog fans?
Well, that's what we need to get into next, because it's time to call our shot, and I'm going to call – well, no, it's not. It's time to talk about our called shots, because it's time for Ding Dong of the Week, and I am a ding dong based on the shot that I called. Now, Lucas, you're absolved from all this because you were doing something different last week.
Oh, we all called Georgia winning.
Oh, man.
Well, watch this. What did Vegas say? Oh, Georgia was going to win by 6.5.
Yeah, Vegas.
So they got a lot of big buildings. They was just as much as ding-dongs as we were.
It is time for Ding Dong of the Week. We will
were all
bring that
ding-dongs.
next. You got a ding dong you want to share with us, Major League Baseball, or if it's Georgia once again, or Kirby Smart, or however you
or
want
the Southerner, Brian Kelly.
That's within the ding dong statute of
is.
limitations.
Oh,
Oh, this sounds like somebody
'cause
who's
that's
got
my number one,
Brian
'cause
Kelly
I-
as a ding dong.
Yeah.
We have
He is
not,
not my ding dong.
We have not mentioned this at all on this show. Not one mention either of the new Predators jerseys, and that would also fall under the ding dong
A
jurisdiction.
lot of material this week.
There's a lot going on.
Did you like that?
Well, let's get into it next. Blaine and
Ooh.
Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
Uh-oh.
If you're over dealing with hair loss, how about stop doing nothing and do something? I mean, it's the Christmas season, for goodness sakes. How about just give yourself the gift of your own hair back? You can do that at PAI. I mean, seriously, stop doing nothing. You can't wish it back. You can't, there's no miracle cure. You can't Google some crazy, home remedy. That doesn't work. What works is real science, and that's what they have at PAI. They have real options for men and women who are dealing with hair loss. So, guys, instead of wearing a hat or just growing a beard or getting your head shaved, or ladies getting creative, however it is that you're trying to pursue this particular endeavor, pursue it the proper way. And you can start by going to wegrowhair.com. That's the website for PAI. You can see all the different things they option. Literally, it starts with something as simple as just sitting under a laser light. I'm not kidding. Just go there 20 minutes twice a week and sit under a laser light. Maybe you need something a little further along than that. Well, they've got that too. They'll work with you on how you pay for it. There's just no reason not to have your hair. Again, wegrowhair.com, or call them 615-376-6010. That's the number for PAI. Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. Every time we play this song, there's lights on now in the studio. If you're watching on Zone TV, you can actually see us now. Buck likes it very ambient and moody in here. We just turned the lights on.
Yeah, he just came back from vacation.
Yeah.
He went back to his hometown.
Yeah.
Home country.
Into the motherland, yeah. I mean, I drove to Jonesboro over Thanksgiving, but Buck flew to Egypt. Yeah, that's a heck of a commute to see the family right there. Glad he's back, though. Good to have him back. Yeah, he, boy, that's a heck of an ordeal. I heard part of the description of his flight issues and COVID testing in Germany and whatnot, and almost getting stranded in an airport. Good times, but good to have our man Buck back in Middle Tennessee. That's for sure. But I'm glad he had a good trip and got to see his family over there. That had to have been a cool moment for everybody. All right, you hear that music? That means one thing. By the way, it's Christmas time. There's a bunch of songs for Christmas with ding dong in them. We got to find some like holiday themed ding dongs, and then we can go back to this for the other 11 months of the year. So, Ding Dong of the Week, we do this each and every Monday. Mark Spain Real Estate, they make it happen. You can go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Or as we like to say, don't be a ding dong. Use Mark Spain Real Estate. Let's start with Jeff in Rhode Island on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Mark just owns this segment. Jeff, thanks for sharing your ding dong with us on a Monday.
Hey, guys, listen to you every day. Ding dong of the week, for sure.
Hey.
Anybody watch that Minnesota Vikings-Detroit Lions game and
Yes.
that incredibly defensive call at the end of the game, allowing the Detroit Lions
Oh, my God.
to
It was
win the
sickening.
first game, which is fantastic. The Lions need a win. I thought it was great. I'm not a big fan of the Vikings, but did they cover the back of the end zone and maybe cover some of the people in the stands instead of actually cover the receivers?
I love it.
That kind of looked like what they called. It was bad.
I love it.
Jeff,
I love that ding dong for the first one because I was livid. I sat there, and luckily I wasn't feeling so good. I just kept.
I had written that
Did
down,
that-
too, because you taught me guard the goal line and
Go-
make them throw over you.
Right.
I know
there
that.
you go.
Guard the goal line.
Right. It was all up back in the end zone. Where are you going?
Guarding the
He's
fans.
just trying to get past the goal line.
All you have to do is guard the goal line. Nothing they can do in front of the goal line can hurt you. The game's over.
Yeah, make him throw over the top, Mickey.
I know that.
But obviously they weren't taught that because, dude.
Hey, man.
I was like, oh my God. And first of all, they were playing soft the whole time, not keeping them in bound. So they were playing soft where they didn't play like a cover 2 zone where you're keeping them all in. It didn't have to be, cover 2, but you got to keep them in bounds.
Yes.
They were running crossing routes all day long. It was just sickening when I watched it. I was just like, wow, man. And obviously they weren't taught that because I don't think they would have done that. But you never know.
This may be it for Zimmer.
I think it is. Because after that, I said, that's it.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. And it looked like he was calling those calls. I'm like, they were playing way too soft.
But you could give it to Dan Campbell, too, for the fourth down, going for it on your own 20-yard line and then running a play where Goff basically handed the ball to a Minnesota pass rusher.
Well, I mean, you could give a ding-dong emeritus to Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
He could just get a permanent ding-dong.
And like, I understand that it was an emotional win, but it looked like they won the freaking Super Bowl the way they were saying. The locker room videos that came out.
They did. What are you talking about, man? They marching
Whichever
right
Ford
now.
sibling is
It's
the
a
lady
parade.
that is the active owner of the line. He picked her up and carried her around. He picked up the owner and carried her around. Yeah. It was insane. Jared Goff is just right. He'd never won a game
Without Sean McVay.
But you know what?
Without Sean,
they just got the monkey off their back. That's what it really was about.
They've been in close games.
They've been close. They can't close
They got
them out.
screwed
They can't
against
win.
the Ravens.
And they got the monkey off their back, man. And I see Reynolds out there doing well. Your boy Khalif Raymond, they all out there balling.
Well, happy for all of them. I don't want anybody to lose all their. Well, I don't want the Lions to. I'm happy.
They've already done it
Jags
before,
and
right?
Texans do. Yeah, they've lost them all before.
Yeah, but they're a solid team. They should be over. But I'm glad they got the snide, man. But they just ended Zimmer's stint at the Vikings.
They had to.
That's
And Zim seems like a great guy.
Oh, he is.
Remember, he got hired. He got hired there. When Wiz got hired here.
Mm-hmm.
So there were.
I like Zimmer, especially
me
when
too.
he's in the DC role. I don't know about the head coach part because
Yeah.
you can't do that. Maybe the players were ding dongs then, but not guarding the goal line, Mickey, as you said.
If I know that,
Then why don't they know that?
and this is what you do. This is literally what you've prepared for, right? Is so when there's 4 seconds left or whatever, and the other team has one play, to guard the goal line and make them throw over you.
Well, the perception is reality that there are a lot of ding-dongs out there, and there are. There are not all of them, but there are some, and you sit there and go, hey, man, make sure you guard the goal line. And
Somebody surely said that to somebody.
Make sure you guard the goal line.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, in practice, then they go out there and do that. Be like, I don't know how many times I got to tell you. It's frustrating. Remember I told you the one time we went over a play 5 times. I just lost my gasket. Just start yelling, do you know we're running a play because of you? No, we ran a play again because of me. What did I do wrong? What? That's what Greg Williams and they was doing on the sideline laughing. They were just waiting. I was like, dude, you got to get over here in the curl route. Oh, my bad, Brother B. And you know who says that.
All right, you're not throwing him under the
Baron
bus. Oh, you are
Wortham.
throwing him the beat.
My God.
That's the bus back in.
I was like, man, we ran this play 5 times for you, man. Come on, man.
Oh,
I didn't even know. This is our middle linebacker. Oh, my God. You got me sweating right now.
he was on the Super Bowl team.
Oh, man. Oh, I love him, but, man, it comes to mind every time. He said, oh, my bad, Brother B. No, it's your bad. Your bad. Run the play right, man. Dude, it goes on all the time. And then we got walkthrough. It's just like, what? So I can't even blame if it was the coach or the player. Because sometimes it may have been the player. I would lean more toward that way than the other way.
It's week 13. People still not going to goal line.
Oh,
We got more ding-dongs on the phone. Let's get them.
They on the phone?
I can see them. Let's get Eric in here next. Eric, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, guys, my ding-dong of the week has to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder for getting beat by the Memphis Grizzlies, 152-79. You got beat by that ridiculous score by like 73 points or whatever it was. It's bad enough you get beat at that score. I scored 15 points each and every game. But you get beat, and Memphis Grizzlies does not even have the best player, John Morant, on the floor. How in the world do you let something like that happen to you? I mean, I'm sorry. It is just inexcusable in today's NBA. Nobody should get beat by 73 points like that. That is just embarrassing. So the Oklahoma City Thunder gets my ding-dong of the week for that performance. Guys, y'all take care.
Eric, that's a fantastic ding-dong. Wouldn't you just start fouling people or something? Wouldn't your pride kick in? I mean, when you're seeing that on the scoreboard, I'd just start fouling people or something.
I saw some highlights. It looked like guys weren't even playing hard. I said, how can this happen in the NBA game? Like, they didn't look like they didn't look like they were playing hard. Something was going on.
I mean, 73 points. It was 79, I think, at one point, the lead. 77 or 79 in the game. They brought it back down to 73.
Just think the level of competitive nature pro athletes have.
Yes.
Seriously, if we were getting beat by 30 at half, I would have been like, hey, man, dude, y'all better have some pride for yourselves. We get not, you know what, beat.
What's the NFL equivalent of that, of losing by 70-something points? Would it be like losing by 50-something?
It'd be up there. 40? 40 or more. Yeah, I mean, you got to have some pride about yourself, man. Oh, man. Whew. Yeah.
It's more than 40, though.
Yeah.
Because that's a 2 or 3 point a play lead. I mean,
yeah, I'd say at least 45.
I think it's more than that. This is the worst in history. That's like 77-3 or
You
something.
wanted to be part of that.
That's 77-3. That's just the number that comes to my head. But what would be because you're our soccer expert, what's the soccer equivalent of that?
7-0.
No,
Seven,
it would have to be worse than that.
15 to like 1.
at the highest level,
15-1.
it would be
They'll
like
never
it
go
would be like
15.
Brazil losing 7-1 to Germany on its home turf in a World Cup semifinal, which happened.
Would that have been a record?
For a World Cup semifinal, I think so. Yes, that was rough. That was a rough time. I was there that day.
Catch up on my soccer.
For baseball, I don't even know what. It's like 21-4 or something. Where like a shortstop pitches the last 2 innings for the other team.
Yeah.
Let's get Carl in McMinnville in a long-distance ding-dong. Hey, Carl, what's going on?
Well, being probably the biggest Notre Dame fan that listens to 104.5, you know where I'm going.
Let's hear it.
Brian Kelly.
All right. I listened to one of the players actually recorded, I think, his Zoom call at 7 o'clock in the morning, in which afterwards he says, goodbye, good luck, and there was no emotion. I'm glad we got our new coach, Coach Freeman. And, yeah, my ding-dong is Coach Kelly.
Heck, Carl, you didn't even mention his my family and I are happy to be here. His where he transformed into Foghorn Leghorn.
Man, that was unbelievable.
Do you think somebody told him, hey, man, just slow it down just a tad. Slow it down just a little bit. Just try it. Or do you think in his mind he was like, oh, I'm going to fix all this. I'm going to talk like they do to them. I'm going to just mock their accents. With
I don't know. That's a tough one there. I don't know. I think it might have been a little bit of both. You know, I think he's got a little bit of salesman to him. But now, when you meet him, you feel like he's straight corporate CEO of a corporation.
Okay.
So
believe
to
that.
me, he wasn't really that rah-rah type of coach.
Right. I believe that.
So not shocked at all. And it's tough because that's the question out there is, what is the proper way to leave, 18 to 21-year-old, 22-year-old guys, that's emotionally attached to you, and you kind of looked upon them as, they're looking at you as like somewhat of a father figure to a certain extent because that's who you're with all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just abandon them.
Right.
Just bang, for business. And you've been there for them the whole time. So I think that's always tough. I don't know what's the proper way to leave. I think to me, you should be honest and have a meeting with everybody there and just take them through the circumstance. And, hey, man, it became business at this point in time. As much as I love you guys, I got to do what's best for my family. But, man, just having a little short conversation, recording or, on Twitter, to me, that just, I couldn't do that. I really couldn't. If you really cared about those kids like that. And you sold them a bill of goods anyway. So, hey, you can't be mad at him taking the opportunity. But, man, I sure never thought Brian Kelly would be at LSU. Ooh. I guess he didn't either. That's why he got the Southern accent.
I guess so. We got multiple ding-dongs in the chat here. RG Titan 901 says Brian Kelly is hands down my ding-dong of the week.
Oh, yeah, you got to play it.
Okay, this is what we're talking about. This was a grown man talking to other grown people at a grown basketball game, and he thought this was a good idea. This happened on Earth recently.
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to get started, and I haven't even won all my games yet.
All the games.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana, but more importantly, to be with you great fans and to be part of what is going to be an incredible ride here at Louisiana State University.
That's Colonel Beauregard Kelly.
Man, that was absolutely horrible.
Our guy Wes
That was
Blankenship called him
absolutely
Bayou Brian.
That's an SNL sketch.
Hey.
And it's better than anything they've written in the last 5 years.
That's why I say it's salesy. You know why? He's talking to the audience. Who's the audience he's talking to? Southern.
Well, his dad's a politician.
Oh, yeah.
He's a poli-sci major.
Oh, I did not know that.
It was like a rally in Shreveport, Louisiana by a politician.
Oh, makes sense. Man, oh, Lucas.
I haven't even won all my games yet.
I do not. Okay, set the bar high.
Yeah.
As soon as you win all of them and win the national championship, you're going to get fired in 2 years. Guaranteed. He said, I don't
That's
care.
what happens to everybody.
I'm going to get $100 million, though.
Well,
But, hey, man, this is you see how much these college coaches are making?
they're making it go away even.
No, man, this thing's. Guess what's happening? This is what's happening. Great coaches are going to start abandoning the NFL and go to college. You make more money.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, if I was in the coaching industry right now, I'm like, if I'm in the NFL, I'm going to leverage that to give me a head coaching job. in college football. I mean, good Lord, what are they making now? What did Kelly sign for?
In the neighborhood of,
Nine.
it's 10-year contracts all around now,
Yeah.
right?
It's
That's becoming the norm.
9.5-ish,
Right.
something like that.
It's like in the neighborhood of 10 years, 100 mil, right? Mel
Yeah.
Tucker's is in that same neighborhood, 95 mil.
All right, I'm just throwing out a number. Let's say Vrabel makes $5 million. He's the head coach of an NFL team.
Yeah.
And Ryan Day leaves Ohio State.
Right. And then Luke Fickell's going to take that job. I mean, dude, I'd be like, matter of fact, you go ahead and leave, Ryan Day, and Vrabel takes the head coaching job at Ohio State. Double his salary. If that's the case. I don't know what he's making. But yeah, this is getting crazy, man. The NFL's going to have to up the ante.
They don't like that. Like you always say, billionaires stay billionaires for a
Yeah,
reason.
they're going to have to up the
They
ante.
have to spend their
If
own
this
money.
is the best.
Yeah.
The best.
Hey,
Why aren't they getting paid the best?
hey, ADs spend booster money.
Hey, man.
NFL teams spend their own money.
Well, from wherever you're getting it from, like TV revenue.
Yep.
Just another $5 million you lost. I think that's like 5 cents.
We got into it though.
Man,
one
that's
day
crazy.
there are a handful of NFL coaches that make college money, but it was just a few. Remember, it was like Pete Carroll and a couple other guys where it's like, oh, he makes 7. Oh,
Right,
that
'cause
guy
I
makes
think-
8.
Yeah, Bill is what, 9?
Yeah,
Is
Bill
he
was
more?
the most, I think,
Right.
9 or 10, something.
Yeah, Carroll's right behind. Yeah.
But a bunch of those guys making 4, 5, whatever they make. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're Matt Rule and you're getting your butt kicked at Carolina, he could go coach any college team. He could probably get the Oregon job if he wanted.
No, I just read an article today. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad I can recall that I did. They say if the Penn State job was open, he was going to take that job because he's from PA.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was his dream. Yeah. So if Frankel was gone, by the way, he got a raise in A75 and they not even ranked, by the way. Just throw that out there. You can get a raise without even being ranked. All it takes is one phone call by your agent and say, hey, man, you interested? We may. And then they hang up.
Oh, no, nobody plays a system like Franklin. What'd you say? They're 7 and 5? And he got a raise and extended.
Guess what game? I mean, we didn't even talk about the Music City Bowl, which Tennessee's going to be playing versus Purdue. I want to see Tennessee versus Penn State. That's what I wanted to see. Get old James back here.
Oh, he would have been working the room.
Ooh.
They probably called the station. How come y'all aren't talking about Penn State?
That was awesome, by the way.
All
They
right.
took that from Brian Kelly.
We've got more ding-dongs to share from the Zone TV chat. We need to finish ours. Lucas has not shared his. It may be Brian Kelly. I don't know. I have one for myself that I did not give in that segment.
I got one, too.
But you want to call in also. Phone line's open, 615-737-1045. We'll continue ding-dong of the week and more next on Blaine and Mickey. So, what's the best time to rent out your home? I got a question for you for my friends at Renters Warehouse. Well, there's lots of great times. There's the time when you're moving, right? Or when you're combining households, or maybe you're relocating for a job, or maybe you inherited a house. That's something that happens more than you would believe. Or maybe you just don't want to pay your mortgage anymore. What's the best way to rent your home, though, if you decide to do that? That's an easy one. It's hire Renters Warehouse. So if you've got one house or you've got a whole bunch of rental property, let Renters Warehouse do all the landlord stuff for you. They're going to perfectly price your property so you don't have to. They know what the rent is worth there. They're going to find you great tenants. They do that in just 17 days. Now, think about that. They find the people to live there for you so you don't have to. And for a small, flat monthly fee, they manage the property 24/7 so you don't even have to do that either, or nor collect the rent, nor anything. And there's no upfront fees. There's really no reason not to call Renters Warehouse today. They don't even have binding contracts. Find out what your home will rent for. Call 615-398-9550 or go to renterswarehouse.com. That's renterswarehouse.com. Renters Warehouse, Nashville. You can't buy happiness, but you can rent it. A lot of us love the holiday season, right? It's a wonderful time of the year, beautiful time of the year. But for people who are struggling with addiction, and there are a lot of people, unfortunately, in our community struggling with opioid addiction, it's a tough time. And you add in the social isolation that's still going on for some people during COVID, and a lot of people are really having problems right now. But the truth is, about addiction, it is a treatable disease, and it's just like any other. It can be treated if you go to the right place. Cedar Recovery, they help people feel better, get better, and stay better because they have an addiction treatment program that works. During this holiday season, my friends at Cedar Recovery are asking all of us in the community to come together and support those struggling with the disease of addiction. If you or someone you know in the community is struggling, they need support, get them in touch today where help is available, and that's Cedar Recovery. They've got same-day telemedicine appointments for patients. So if you or someone you know, again, is struggling, call Cedar Recovery today, 615-800-5330, or go to cedarrecovery.com. Cedar Recovery, addiction treatment that works. Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone. Austin Stanley says on Twitter, never go away from keep their heads ringing. I was just thinking about just during the holidays. There's a lot of ding-dong songs in the holidays for Ding-Dong of the Week. Vols to the Wall has sent us many Christmas-related ding-dong songs, Lucas, so they will all be there on your disposal. He also called me a ding-dong for mentioning salary cap for sports where they don't have salary cap. It's not a hard cap, but a soft cap, so they determine luxury tax off of it. But Lots of ding-dongs in the Zone TV chat. Lonzo says ding-dong of the week is people thinking Alabama was going to lose. How could we have an All-SEC National Championship if Georgia won? LOL. Elijah says.
Oh, that was good for the SEC. Yeah.
It was very good. Elijah says biggest ding-dong is Clark Lee for not waiting another year. He could have been Notre Dame's coach.
Hindsight's 2020 on that one, right?
Think about Luke Fickell could have been Notre Dame's coach if the timing worked out. And there was a report that it was his job.
I think that was his dream job.
That's supposedly his dream job. Heck, for the longest time, it was Urban Meyer's dream job. But he's, floating to the bottom of the ocean or sinking in it in this boat in Jacksonville right now.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's Jacksonville week for the Titans. That job is a lot of people's dream job, but the timing was so terrible. And I like that they promoted the DC. Seems like an awesome guy. I know you looked him up. He played at Ohio State. Was a real good college player.
I didn't even know that. I looked him up. Yeah, started linebacker. He was drafted like 5th round.
Mike Vrabel tried to hire him.
Did he?
Lucas tweeted that. Yes.
Tried to hire him to replace Tyrone McKenzie as linebackers coach, but he stayed at Cincinnati under Luke Fickell.
You talk about playing your cards right.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at his arc. He's all in Ohio pretty much, or the Midwest.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's.
Used to, it didn't seem like coaches really moved. And like Johnny Majors went Tennessee, Pittsburgh. He had obviously ties to Tennessee and came back home.
He's at Purdue.
It seems like coaches used to more stay regionally. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. There's so much money at stake. Guys are like, I'll go to the South. I'll use a fake accent. What do you want me to do?
But it feels like the case for Fickell, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's been the whole thing about Luke Fickell. He's going to stay in the Midwest, not taking an SEC job.
Who goes to Oregon now? Because poor
much
Manny
done.
Diaz said, Temple fans are saying, yeah, ha, poor Manny Diaz. But they make him sit around all weekend, and Cristobal's like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. So then they fire.
Well, it was negotiations.
Yeah.
You added up another $1 million or $2 million? Oh, okay. Yeah. That's funny, though, that the Nike money there at Oregon could outbid them.
Could not bid COVID money, apparently. That's the story out of Miami, is it's coming from the medical part of the deal.
That's my ding-dong of the week.
Well, that's okay, Lucas. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, Lucas. We'll just transition into your ding-dong.
Ding-dong of the week. My ding-dong is the Miami Hurricanes, who got their guy, and I hate that they got their guy because the way they went about it was so slimy and gross. It's like if you're in a relationship and you don't know if you want to get out of it, and there's this one girl that you kind of like, and you'll leave this girl for that one, but only if she'll say yes. And if she doesn't say yes, then you'll go back to the other one and keep that relationship going. That's what Miami
from experience.
Yeah, that was very well explained there, Romeo.
But that's what Miami was trying to do to Manny Diaz. And he's on the recruiting trail. He's sitting in kids' living rooms telling them he's the head coach at Miami and why they should come play for him as reports are swirling that, if they get Cristobal, they'll fire him. If not, they'll stick with him. I wish they didn't get Cristobal so that they could have gone back to Diaz and, no, you're our guy. And he said, no, I'm not.
But he can't quit because there's too much money at stake. Because here's the deal. $8 million to buy out Manny Diaz is the reported figure. $9 million to buy out Mario Cristobal at Oregon. $8 million for his salary first year.
Biggest in the conference, by the way. More than anybody in the ACC.
Wow. There's some job openings in the ACC, too.
Ross Dellinger reported $94.4 million has been paid in buyout money across college football so far. Almost $100 million in buyout money. So, Mr. Hardline AD on the show, Blaine Bishop, your business model may start to come out because that's almost $100 million in buyouts.
Man.
What may become more of the model is we'll pay you a little extra more a year, but we're not going to give you a crazy buyout. You're not getting a crazy buyout. We'll pay you a little more extra per year, but you're not going to have we're going to have a different buyout structure in place. Or something like that, because we're still not even done with all this. There's going to be more that happens. There's going to be more changes. I mean, Oregon came open this morning. So that's a great job. Somebody's going to take the Nike money. So who leaves to take that? Then who leaves to fill that spot? 94, well, let's just say $94.4 million is what he'd come up with in buyouts just so far.
I'm laughing because I'm about to say what I'm about to say. I would change the whole structure of how college coaches get paid. And it's only beneficial to me.
I don't know how well that's going to go over.
And to me, in that I'm looking at the model that as much as coaches change and leave now, I don't think they should have a buyout. I think maybe you give them sign-in bonuses, and that keeps them there, maybe. I don't know. And then give them a long-term deal and then never restructure. And if they leave, then you only gave them the sign-in bonus.
Sure.
That's just like a buyout, too. You can call it that. So on the back end or the front end, because I don't think anything should be guaranteed at this point.
Yeah.
So because they're just moving and taking the biggest pocketbook who can give them the money. I mean, so, yeah, they got to change the whole structure and model. That's why I would probably be fired as an AD, and probably if I ran the NCAA, I probably wouldn't be around there too long.
Well, it might stick around if you were actually running.
Because they're really now treated like, now they're to the level of executives of major corporations,
Sure.
of how they're getting treated as far as their pay. And so to cut that off, you got to go restructure the whole system. To me, these guys. Man, when you're talking about a college coach making $10 million a year, man,
14 years.
Hats off to Harbaugh in Michigan and giving his signing bonus that he achieved back to some employees, by the way, that took pay cuts during the COVID time. So, yeah, as quirky as a lot of people want to talk about Jim Harbaugh, that's a heck of a deal doing that, man. So hats off to him.
Let's squeeze in one more ding-dong. John in Brentwood. John, thanks for calling us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline.
Here, let me give you a ding-dong here.
Yes, sir.
Manny Diaz.
Okay.
And this is why I say Manny Diaz is ding-dong, because back in the day, Manny Diaz took the Temple job,
Yeah.
went out and recruited 17 ball players, and 18 days later, he leaves for Miami.
Yep,
So ding-dong is a you-know-what.
What comes around goes around.
Yeah. Hey, John, thank you for
Hey,
the call.
I forgot
I
all
had
about
mentioned that.
Yeah,
Literally.
that's
I
right.
said, remember Temple, Manny Diaz. You know exactly how it goes.
But he still wins. He's getting his pay.
Yeah, $8 million. And that's why he couldn't quit. For all the people,
So how do you
just tell him,
stop-
screw it, I quit. No, he's not going to quit. I'm going to keep recruiting, and then they're going to fire me, and then I get my $8 million.
So actually, they're
Live on
doing
the
him a
beach.
favor.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and he'll get a job somewhere. He's got a great
He's
record.
a DC at Middle, too, right?
He's been a lot of places, yeah. He was like an intern at ESPN at one point. He's been everywhere. We've been everywhere for 1 hour. We got another hour of the show. By the way, my ding-dong for myself was I talked myself into picking Georgia this weekend. That was stupid. I always pick Bama. I got to believing in Georgia. They'd given up 37.
Not to.
They'd given up 37 points in the previous 5 games and gave up 41 this weekend.
Yeah. What really happened is Bama should have lost to Auburn. They got their butts handed to them up front. They got 7 sacks, Auburn did. Guess how many sacks did Georgia got? 0.
I was going to say I see a lot of zeros being held up in the
0.
studio here.
So they got them jacked up. You know who's the old line coach there at Alabama? Old Dougie Fresh, Marone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's seen a thing or two.
Mhm.
Didn't see his quarterback get
Got
sacked.
those dudes pumped up, and it didn't take very much. And then all that rat poison turned to yummy.
Yeah, I did. All that 5-star talent was like, oh, okay. Okay, we'll see you where we've always belonged in the playoff. All right, we come back hour number 2, including a visit from Matt Hayes to talk about all this college football stuff. It's coming up on Blaine and Mickey.
This is Blaine Bishop, and as a former professional athlete, I know what it takes to work with the best. Let me tell you about my friends at Master Staff Global Employment Solutions. At Master Staff Employment, they have consultants locally in the market working with actual candidates to handpick the absolute best applicant for your company's job openings. The reason most companies today are having a hard time finding quality candidates is because companies are using a third-party vendor to find resumes instead of actual people. At Master Staff, their team uses the human connection of working with the right person and not just a bullet point on a resume. Master Staff consultants get to know each business personally. They walk the halls, they assess your company's culture, and they use that attention to detail to handpick the right candidates for your company the very first time. So if you are tired of the wasted money you spend on the wrong applicants, then call Master Staff today at 615-223-JOBS. That's 615-223-JOBS or masterstaffemployment.com. No one wants to go to the vehicle repair shop. It's like going to the doctor for an operation. The typical first reaction is, how do I know that I really need what they say I need? Well, sometimes you're really wondering if you're getting a repair recommendation or you're making someone else's mortgage payment. Blaine Bitch will tell you that people are tired of getting bamboozled. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of auto repair shops, come on over to Eurofix. Eurofix repairs everything European. So if you feel like you've been lied to or taken advantage of when it comes to auto repair, come and check out Eurofix. It's a place you can trust. Eurofix will always tell you the difference between a recommendation and a must-do. You get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection at every visit, no appointment necessary. Just come when you want to come. And Eurofix also offers a free nationwide 3-year, 36-month warranty on all work. Plus a free rental car with reservation on every repair so you're not stranded sitting around all freaking day. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX Monday through Friday, or you can just visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine sent you.
It is 2:02. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans transactions from earlier today as the team comes out of the bye week, returning to practice but remaining on injured reserve. Wide receivers Julio Jones and Racey McMath, along with safety Dane Cruikshank. Also released from the active roster was outside linebacker John Simon. Tennessee's going bowling in Music City. The Vols will take on Purdue in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl in Nissan Stadium December 30th. We learned in the College Football Playoff Selection Show on Sunday. And after championship weekend, it's Alabama taking the 1 seed in the College Football Playoff. They'll play 4 seed Cincinnati, while Georgia, as the 3, plays Big Ten champion Michigan. Both games, both semifinals, on New Year's Eve. Coaching carousel spinning. Miami will hire Mario Cristobal out of Oregon to be their next head coach, firing Manny Diaz. Cristobal reportedly will sign a 10-year contract. And Oklahoma has named a new head coach in Clemson, D.C., Brent Venables. He worked as an assistant under Bob Stoops at OU from 1999 through 2011. Tonight, Monday Night Football, Bills and Patriots in Buffalo. A New England loss would shift the Titans back up to the 1 seed after the bye week. Kickoff at 7:20. Catch the Westwood One coverage right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up? Happy Monday, everybody. It is it's not a victory Monday. I guess it's a victory, though, when you don't play and the Ravens lose and you move from 3rd to 2nd place. And technically it could be another victory tonight if the Bills, at home, can beat the Patriots. Then the Titans would be right back in the number 1 seed again.
I'm going to watch this game. I'm all in on this one.
Yeah. I mean,
Good one.
just saying. Also, here's some news for you. Have you got the rap sheet audio? Lucas, are you working? Oh, okay. He just held up a finger. I don't know which one it was, but he held up a finger. So this happened for the Titans today. Julio Jones.
Wasn't the middle finger.
And no, I don't know. I just saw a finger around the corner. Julio Jones, Dane Cruikshank, both in the return to play 21-day window, along with Racey McMath. Now, he can help you on special teams. But Julio, Racey, and Dane Cruikshank all are at least in we're the thing where they're still on the IR, but they're not. And this just means they could practice and come back this week. That's all good news. Potentially, yes. So the Titans transacted that like this morning. They didn't even wait till 3:05 today like they normally do. They just vomited that information out this morning. And so there you go. So all could see it.
They saw all the vomit.
They just put it all out there. And then Tuzar Skipper's on the practice squad. That happened too. Remember him?
Oh, wow.
Tuzar Skipper.
Yeah.
Or Tuzar Skipper. And John Simon, he's gone. They did a lot of stuff. But the main thing you're worried about is Julio, Dane, Racey McMath are all in that window where they've got like one leg on IR and one leg back on the roster, and they just got a groin in between to try to figure things out. So Lucas sent us this in the commercial. So Ian Rappaport said some things about some stuff. We only heard a second or two of it in the commercial. Is this good? Will Titans fans be excited when they hear this, Lucas?
I think so.
Okay, well, let's play it then. Here's Ian Rappaport saying stuff about things involving stuff with the Titans.
The entire thought process behind putting Julio Jones on injured reserve was, you know what, put him to the side, get the hamstring better, and just fix it. Just go away for 3 weeks and just fix it. And that basically is where the Titans are. They were able to stay in the mix despite obviously no Derrick Henry, despite not having Julio Jones, 2 of their big guns. Henry coming back later in the season. Jones may end up being back this week. They want to get out there. They want to see him run. They want to make sure he's fully healed and healthy. Mike Vrabel, as you might imagine, not quite into hypotheticals or what-ifs or whatever, wants to see him first before making any decision. But the fact that he is able to have his practice window open, the fact that he is able to get out there and show that he is healthy is a very good sign toward the Titans actually having a fully healthy and real.
Yep. That's
Yeah, it cuts off pretty abruptly there.
Just near yep. He dropped a Missy Elliott on there. Okay. Just casually, he mentioned, what was the exact wording on the Derrick Henry thing there? He just casually mentioned, by the way,
at the end of the season?
No, like coming back. He's like, well, you'll get Derrick Henry back. I think Lucas is
Henry coming back later in the season.
Later in the season.
Henry coming. He just said that. Like, Yeah, I'm going to eat some grapes later. And Henry coming back later in the season. Now, that goes against his not counterpart at the same agency, but that goes against everything Adam Schefter has said, who's been very much on the hill of he ain't coming back.
Henry coming back later in the season.
Can we put a beat under
How
that
do
and make
you-
a
How do you
remix?
take that coming back later in the season? That could mean before regular season's up. It could mean in the playoffs. It can mean anything, right? Later in the season.
Later in the season. But
So
that's
you think it's regular season?
he just said later in the season. I mean, that where are we? 6 weeks or 7 on that?
If he
now?
would have said later in the regular season.
Oh, okay. But it's just
Henry coming back later in the season.
See, he kept it broad. He was smart. It's not his first rodeo now.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no this season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just have to make it to the third round of the playoffs. That's still in this season.
Wait, what week is this for Henry being out? Lucas can do math better
Got
than
hurt
me.
on Halloween, right?
Yep, he got hurt against
So
the
it's what,
Colts on
been
Halloween.
5 weeks? 5, 6 weeks? What has it been?
So that means he had surgery. What did he have it the next day or Tuesday?
I believe he had it on Tuesday, so tomorrow would mark 5 weeks since surgery. It was definitely 5 weeks from yesterday, the game that he got injured.
Right. So it's a what, 6 to 8 week or 8 to 10 week injury?
6 to 10 was the report from Rappaport
6 to 10 is
initially.
pretty broad.
So okay,
8 weeks. That's good.
so that was the 2nd of November then, right? That he had surgery. So 9th, 16th, 23rd, 30th.
But today's the 7th.
tomorrow-
Whatever it is.
Tomorrow's the 7th. So like you said, 5 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah.
So 5 weeks tomorrow. I told you guys when this happened, I reached out to an orthopedic surgeon that I know who was an Andrews fellow under Dr. Andrews, who's the guy that fixes a lot. And he said it's not completely unthinkable at all that he would come back and play even before the season was over with this particular injury. And he said, know that everybody's different, heals differently. But he said that particular injury, again, the window that you're hearing that he could come back 6 to 8 to whatever he said, that's not unthinkable that he could come back and play at all.
I don't think that is an issue at all. To be honest, I think the risk reward as an organization. What are your thoughts? He's going to want to play once they rev him up and he starts practicing for probably a week or 2 or whatever it may be. Then you have to figure out, how do you use Henry? How is Henry most effective?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a partial Henry? And when I say that, I'm talking about his effectiveness is not in the first quarter, it's the fourth quarter. So when you put him out there, you better think that he's going to be the normal Henry. Sorry. So you got to go 20 carries and in, because that's when he's most effective. If you try to spot play him and play him like 10, and give him like 10 carries, he's not going to be the same Henry. He's not going to have the impact that you want. Now, being on the field will have some impact, but it won't be the impact as far as the breakaway and him wearing the defense down and those things. So if it was me, I would want him in full effect. I want him all the way healthy and ready to rock and roll. When we put you out there, the only thing that's going to be an issue is maybe you get fatigued, because I'm going to play you like you've been Derrick Henry, because that's when I know you're most effective. They've tried that before. He doesn't work well with rotating in and out there like that. So, yeah, I'm all in or I'm not playing him. That's the way I have to be with Henry. He's not one of those guys can get in rhythm and flow quick. That's his game. His game is not like that.
And that might mean that, like, if he says, I could give you 12 carries this week, you're like, okay, then wait till next week, big dog, and you can give us 20, because 12 for you.
Yeah.
Wait till you can give us – you can come back.
Some people are going to say, well, him just being on the field is still an impact. The risk reward is he's going to have all offseason if he re-injures it to fix it. Now, it's going to mess up his training.
Yeah.
But that, because it could happen. I've seen it happen. I told you Thickpin had the same injury, the exact same injury, and he broke it and the pin in there and then had to redo it again. And he came back even in a shorter period of time after that. And that one stuck, and nothing happened. So you can kind of slow or ruin someone's career if that does break and he has to go in there again.
Oh.
And I say it to a certain extent, he may not be the same Derrick Henry. He'll still be really good, but he won't be the freak of nature good. Or you can go down the list of freak of nature. Let's talk about the freak.
Literal freak.
Yeah, he had the foot. Then next he was not the same guy. He became just a good pass rusher. The speed he was not the elite speed guy anymore.
Now, that was the same injury, right? The fifth metatarsal with Kurtz.
Yeah.
It's on the outside of your foot. That's tough. And then,
How
you know,
fast did he come back?
Oh, I don't remember.
I was at the game when he came back. I
Well,
remember
it
he threw his
happened
helmet
during
in
the
air.
season, so I didn't think he'd come back to the next season.
No, he came back.
That just
No,
the season?
he came back that year. He
what
came back because they introduced him. They introduced the defense that night. And he came out of the tunnel and like threw his helmet in the air. There's
that's a tough.
He was inactive. He got hurt in the season opener against the Eagles. Was inactive for 12 games.
so he missed 12 games.
Javon Curse did in
Okay.
2002, I believe.
See,
So-
and I would say they're
12 games.
Yeah, that's 12 games.
Ew,
And
yeah.
he's not getting tackled.
And then in 2003, he had 9.5 sacks through the first 9 games of that season, but got shut down with an ankle injury. So he came back strong the following year before getting hurt again.
12 weeks for Derrick Henry. If it was 12 weeks, November 9, 16, 23, 30, December 7th, December 14, 21, 28,
Go month.
January 4th, January 11th, 8, that would put him back on January 25th. So you'd have to make the Super Bowl, basically, to get him back. If it takes 12 weeks. Ian Rappaport, when he comes back this season, can we hear that one more time? It's Ian Rappaport earlier today talking about Lucas is gone. No, he's in there.
Henry coming back later in the season.
There you go.
And we don't know
Henry
where he's
coming
at.
back
It's
later
not like
in the
they're going to
season.
tell him.
I feel like, could we put that like a beat under that or something and just like some auto tune on him?
Yeah,
He'll
we'll
see what I can do.
Yeah, let's see. Give Lucas 5 minutes here in this next break, see if he can clean that up. All right. Segment number 2 coming up. There's some salary cap news for the NFL we need to get into. And there are 3 moves that could save $30 million for the Titans. 3 moves.
For next year.
For next year.
Oh, the cap's going up too. You
It is.
capologist?
It is going up. We'll give you some capology next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Capology.
Henry coming back later in the season. 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 Henry coming back later in the season.
That's the
Henry
Ian
coming back
Rappaport
later in the
remix by
season.
Lucas
Henry-
Panzika. Ian Rappaport just dropping this and Henry coming back later in the season. He was talking about Julio Jones, and then he just casually mentioned Derrick Henry coming back. So we were doing some math and trying to figure some things out, and I don't know. Lucas did some research. Javon Curse had the same injury a long time ago. That was 2002 that he had that, and he came back 12 weeks later. So Derrick Henry will be 5 weeks tomorrow from his surgery that he had on his fifth metatarsal on his foot.
And so we're talking about two freaking nature athletes, and it's very unpredictable on the time frame. Yeah, especially when we're talking about a foot, and it's hard to get blood flow in there, so that affects how fast the healing process goes. So, but you never know with Henry, and he's a running back, so it's a little bit different even than being a pass rusher. Now he's putting his foot on that plant foot a lot more, but you're always playing on your feet as a running back, right?
Are
You
they?
just never know. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gung ho and back before the season. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play at all.
I mean, the biggest freak athletes that the team has ever had, obviously the man named the freak, Javon Curse. Chris Johnson would have to be in there just because I don't know if I'd ever seen a human, just a human being who was that fast. And then Derrick Henry, he's everything. He's as big as anybody. He's as strong as anybody. He's as fast as anybody. I mean, that would have to be the big three of freaks on the list, right? Just
I would okay, I would say those are the top three. I would put Eddie George on there. He played with a significant toe foot injury and never missed a game.
he had a foot that didn't work essentially for a season.
Yeah, there would be
almost 1,000
sometimes be like,
yards.
hey man, you need to chill. He's like, nah, I got this. I'm like, wow, there's no way. You're a running back and you don't have your foot? Dude, I don't know. I mean, because he was like stuttering and trying to fake and would just fall down sometime.
Yeah, that was
that was pretty impressive. He was a freaking, I mean, man, he's a 6'3", 235-pound guy.
he's NFL Rookie of the Year, Heisman Trophy winner.
I think he's not as fast as Henry and naturally not Chris Johnson, so can't put him on that plane.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, when
both
of his feet were good, that dude could outrun some people too,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I mean, I remember the
Oh,
playoff
he could
game.
take it to the house.
He could take it to the house from anywhere, big Eddie George.
Oh, yeah.
You see Eddie George today, it's like, he still looks like he could play.
Yeah.
That's
when you know you one of those. Javon Curse looks the same way.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, man. I think he tore his bicep or something working out. I was just looking at why are you working out that hard? You doing a body contest or something?
Well, he could do that.
Yeah, he ripped up, man, now.
I think he saw what the salary cap's going to be, and he thought he could come back and get him
They
some
might
money.
have said, just play third down pass rusher.
Third down. That's it. Hey, freak, you don't even have to play on the first two downs. This year it's 182.5. This was a year where the owners got the concession, basically, let's don't raise it up too much. We got to make up this money that we lost. We're poor. So it's 182.5. Next year it's going all the way to 208.2. So I looked at Spot Track because that's kind of like the Bible of cap space. The Titans are currently 21st according to Spot Track. They have 25.6 projected million in cap space. 25.6 million. So then I thought, okay, so what are the biggest cap hits for the Titans? Number one is easy, Ryan Tannehill, quarterback. His cap hit for next year, $38.6 million.
Oh, they're redoing his.
That's 18% of the Titans' total cap.
He's either getting an extension or they're going to give him cash up front and make a signing bonus.
Because your cap hit can't be 38, not in the way they got things structured. You know who number two is?
I'm going to guess Lawan? No,
he's close. He's close, but he's not number two.
I don't know.
Bud Dupree.
Oh, well, he just signed, yeah. But
$19.2 million is his cap hit.
Dang. And Tannehill doubled that.
Think about that. Double. It is that. That's double. It's double. It's more than double.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard is 3, 15.8. Derrick Henry is 4. He's $15 million even is his cap hit. Then Taylor Lewan.
Oh.
So this is where it gets interesting. Julio Jones is next after Lawan, then Saffold, then Jackrabbit. All those guys have 10 or more. That's everybody with a 10 or more $1 million cap hit. It's 8 people. Tannehill, Dupree, Byard, Henry, Lawan, Julio, Saffold, and Jackrabbit. Then you go down to like 8.6 for Danico Autry. Then you go all the way down into the 4s for anybody else.
Oh, I don't mind that number with Jackrabbit. If I give him some of that money and assign a bonus, just have a security blanket, even though I don't like the way he played. But you got to go think about, okay, who can you get better for that salary? What is he making, $7 million? Starting cornerback, and that's kind of a low number for, a number 2 guy. It's probably about right. So, yeah, and he signed a 2-year deal, so he's got one more year.
He's got a 2-year deal.
Yeah, so I think I can ride with him. Just to kind of, you want to play it out too. Don't forget now, hopefully Farley is somewhat in the play, but you just never know. After 2 ACL tears and 2 back surgeries, I don't know. That's a huge, probably not, but you never know, man.
In a perfect world, you'd have Caleb Farley, and you'd have Christian Fulton, who's turned out to be who they thought he would be. In a perfect world, you're just ready to rock and roll next year. But my gosh, the question marks around Farley now. I mean,
that's big.
And he loses a year of experience too, more or less, because he played a little bit, but this is all this time that he's not out there soaking up experience on the field. So, perfect world, Farley, Fulton, 2 Fs. But there may be a third F if.
I was wondering where you're going at. I'm sure somebody is going to be saying a lot of effing words.
So, just also, this is on Spot Track. It has like the projected, this guy would be worth this much based on what we think. And I sent you a screen grab of this, of their top cap hits. And just in the right top corner of this, A.J. Brown's projected value and Harold Landry's projected value for their future contracts. Because you got, one more year of A.J. under contract. Next year's year 4, right?
Landry's up, yeah.
So you got to figure that out. And then Landry's up. So you know what those numbers are per year.
Do you redo Landry? Based off of where everybody else, it's obvious that you should, but can you? Can you
re-sign him?
Yeah.
He's
going to cost a boatload.
They say $17.8 million per is their projected value for Harold Landry. And AJ, $18.5 million is his projected per year value on Spot Track.
2 receivers making that kind of money?
Well, it'd be AJ and Landry, so a pass rusher and a receiver.
I know.
But Julio, yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
So when you're trying to balance out your salary cap, you don't want, overload. Sometimes it happens in one position. Just like having Bud Dupree and Landry, now you got 2 already got Autry, and then you got to predict Simmons is going to be up when, and another year after that. So you just start saying, ugh. See, that's what could cancel Landry out. Yeah, because those guys are like they gonna re-sign him. There's no way.
Then
you got Dupree and Autry's making some decent amount of money. So that's a tough one there because I would love to have him back.
Projected for Landry 4 years, $71.3 million. So 4 for 71. That's where they're saying he's worth. I brought up, I don't remember who we had on. I brought up, do you try to franchise Landry just to keep the thing going for another year? And I don't remember who it was said no way, but I don't know why you wouldn't at least consider.
Well, it would hit the cap a little bit harder, wouldn't it? Because it's a direct 1-year salary. That's the only problem with that. But, you can find a way to finagle around all that, I'm sure.
And then AJ, because the cap will go up again, it'll take another pretty significant, because it was taking a pretty significant jump every year until the COVID hit. So AJ... So 4 years, 73 for Harold Landry. AJ, they have at 4 years, $73.8 million. So that'd be 4 years apiece and be 144.5 million in change for 2 players.
Yeah, just monopoly money. I don't know. They're going to lose out on some of these guys.
Yep.
It's just no way around it. Sorry, but I think they're gonna be able to get AJ Brown. You're gonna start prioritizing, and then they're gonna say, Simmons in a year after that. Because, Julio won't be here past next year. You got to keep A.J. Brown.
Yeah, Julio is on this dead cap list. He's got a big cap hit. The point that I was going to make about the guys that you might move on, Julio's cap hit next year is $14 million, and his dead cap is $13 million. So, that's a number that says he sticks around. Now, here are the three interesting numbers on this deal, and these have been talked about. And this was a big dust-up about a month ago because somebody brought this up about Lawan, and we got all these tweets. Lawan's going to be on the team next year. You don't know that.
No, nobody knows.
Nobody knows that except for John Robinson and, Mike Vrabel maybe and Amy Adams Strong.
Well, they start looking at the numbers after the season. Mm-hmm.
So here you go. Titans 21st in cap space. They've got 8 players with 10 or more million cap hits. Ryan Tannehill is 38.8. Bud Dupree 19.2. That's the two biggest. Lawan is 14.7 million cap hit. His dead cap hit is only 1.8 million. That's a $12.9 million difference.
Mm-hmm.
And that matters, people. You can love him to death. You can be for the boys all you want.
For the boy.
12.9 difference, okay?
Yeah.
So what about Roger Saffold, who's been a warrior out there, played his butt off? Well, his cap hit is 12.87. His dead cap is 2.37. That's 10.17 million in savings difference. And then let's just say for Jackrabbit, just for kicks and giggles, you said we're going to roll with somebody younger. He's 10.2 cap hit with a dead cap hit of 3.2. That's $7 million even that you would save if you didn't have Jackrabbit. That's $30.7 million with 3 moves.
Those are tough ones there.
That's almost Harold and AJ's money.
Yeah, those are tough moves because, and what you try to do as a GM, you try to stay ahead of the curve when you think they're starting to go on the downward slope. When I'm talking about Saffold and Lawan, who actually is kind of starting to play a little bit better now that he's finally got back out there. But how much is that worth in your mind? And then can he come back and play better? You assume that he'll be a little bit better next year because it'll be a year in. Just like Bud Dupree, who you just signed, so you can't,
Oh, no.
So that's going to be an interesting. They got some tough decisions. Because ultimately this offense, this style has to be revolved around the offensive line and their run blocking. So how long do you stick with those guys?
And you pooped the bet on the Panda pick because you thought he could be a starting tackle. And he's, that happened how it happened. And then maybe you also did on the Ravens pick. You've taken a tackle in the first and second round. They're
2 years in a row.
They're going to have – are they going to have to take a tackle in the first round again? I mean –
or second round.
Yep.
Let alone maybe a cornerback.
Yep. First round tackle, second corner, or vice versa. I mean, after taking tackles and corners, a corner. But right now,
because you're trying to look for the holes also, guys with contracts up. You got the middle linebacker spot with Brown as well as Evans.
Yep. They're both done. That tells that just, hey, man, David Long and Monty Rice, come on down. And we're going to draft another guy, too. We'll be real young there. Maybe you sign some, $4 million a year veteran guy. So we're just like, well, we ain't spending much money on the inside on the inside linebacker. Nothing. Okay, well, we can kick some money outside then.
That's how you got to be thinking.
Yeah. GM Blaine Bishop. I mean,
yeah, right.
How are we going to do this?
I don't know. I'll just try to fix a mess here. That's what that sounds
But like your 2 starting safeties are back. You have Hooker and Byard.
You probably want to do something with Byard as far as redoing his contract a little bit to soften the blow.
Mm-hmm.
You want him here at least another year for sure. If he would have had a bad year, then that might, may be different.
No, I'm sure Byard's like, oh, yeah, you can add some more money. That feel free to add all you want.
Yeah.
So I'm about to make
or
the
you
Pro
give
Bowl.
him upfront money and just kind of lessen his salary based off of giving it to him in cash cake.
Well, the Saffold and Lawan thing is going to be fascinating. What happens this offseason with those guys? And it may be, Roger Saffold's had such a fantastic career and he's really been beat up late in his career. He may say, hey, man, I'm going to I'm going to shake your hand and walk off into the sunset. I've had all this that I want, and maybe not. Maybe they both want to keep playing somewhere. And you brought this up about Lawan. Maybe you just got to restructure. Maybe you just tell him this is the way the contract's got to be if you want to stay on this team. Because we can't eat this number for you. And maybe that's what it comes to.
Yeah, see how much he wants to stay here.
Yeah. And he may say, I don't want to stay here for that. Well, then at that point, you got to make a hard decision. All right. No hard decisions. Matt Hayes set to join us next to talk some college football. He's with Saturday Down South. He's with 1010XL in Jacksonville. Let's get the latest on all of this college football stuff that's going on coming up next with our buddy Matt Hayes. That's next on Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. All right, Monday Night Football coming up. So you got to get ready to make a decision here on how you want to handle this with your friends at FanDuel Sportsbook because it's Week 13 and you got a divisional matchup between the Patriots and the Bills. FanDuel Sportsbook, they want to make it even bigger for you. They're giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. That means you, me, anybody, new customer could win $150 on just a $5 bet. If you're a Titans fan, you need to be saying go Bills. Maybe a big night for Josh Allen. Maybe he runs the over. Maybe he throws for the over. Whatever he does, if you're a Titans fan, you need to be in the Bills corner. And if you can win on this thing, and when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up with the promo code Mickey before tonight's big Monday night matchup. You could win $150 on just a $5 bet. And remember, if you're already a FanDuel Sportsbook user, FanDuel is hooking all customers up with $50 when you refer a friend. Plus, your friend will get $50 too. Sounds pretty good, right? So do it today. Sign up for FanDuel. Use the promo code Mickey so they know that I sent you. You got to be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. New users only, $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users filled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you got a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Matt Hayes will join us in just a second. Jonathan in Gallatin is going to join us right quick, though. When you call, we hit you up on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Jonathan, what's going on, man? Let's squeeze this in before we talk some college football.
Hey, guys. Love your show. Last segment, you were touching on some of the draft picks. I was just thinking back, which that draft was a while ago. We got no Caleb Farley injury. You got no, what's his name, Braden's the tackle. Can't be seen on the field. You lost Weaver to an injury.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Fitzpatrick just got on the field, 2 games ago by default. So this draft class has hurt the Titans this year. If it wasn't for the offseason picks, we'd be in big trouble.
Well, appreciate the call. And this class has helped a whole lot more than last year's class did. They played like 32 games or something, I figured, is how many starts the entire class had last year.
As well as, that's why it's kind of pretty impressive. You know, then you got Bud Dupree has been in and out of the lineup in free agency, as well as Julio Jones.
Yep, which kind of makes Vrabel's coaching job that much more admirable this year.
Really? No doubt.
Let's talk some college football now. Matt Hayes, always great to catch up with him. He joins us all the way from beautiful Florida. What's the temp right now where you are? Just make us feel bad, Matt.
I mean, do you really want it?
I want it.
Yeah, we want it.
Like 72?
Okay. All right. We hate you. It's official.
You had to do that in a Southern accent, though. Southern 72.
I'm not Brian Kelly. Come on.
Hey, how amazing was that press conference? Just as far as things that are just amazingly, ridiculously stupid. How great was that?
It was just so dopey. I mean, why even do it? There's no reason to even do it, right? Why do you even do it?
Wow.
I mean, he's a great coach. The guy's that's what's so weird to me is this is a guy who literally has won everywhere with odds stacked against him. When he was in the lower divisions in the NCAA at Grand Valley State, he won 2 national championships. He won, I think, 42 of his last 45 games. And he used to line the fields before practice. So then he goes to Central Michigan, which is a hellhole. And the whole MAC conference is a hell. They don't pay anybody anything in those leagues.
Thank you.
Then he wins the conference championship there. Then he goes to Cincinnati when they're in the Big East. The whole league is falling apart. Cincinnati's notorious for being cheap. This is before they started spending money on football. He goes there and has an unbeaten season. Then he goes to Notre Dame. All he does at Notre Dame with the most stringent recruiting academic standards of anyone, and with everybody wanting a piece of that pie at Notre Dame. He goes in there, and the next thing you know, he's the winningest coach in the history of the school. Now you're going to tell me he's going to go to LSU, where he goes from basically sipping through a straw as far as recruiting to like avoiding a fire hose at LSU, where he can get anybody he wants in that school. You think he's going to fail there? I mean, it's going to be a spectacular success there. I don't know why everybody's like panning this hire. It's weird to me.
Oh no, I just meant the accent, not the hire.
Right? No, I agree. But if you look on social media, like he's like this bad guy that nobody in Notre Dame likes. He's a tyrant. He's a guy who can't recruit. Oh, by the way, his recruiting class right now at Notre Dame, number 5 in the nation. Yeah. With all those recruiting, with all the idea of the academic restrictions that they have. I mean, it's so weird how social media is these days. Something happens, the narrative begins, and then it's just wildfire, and everybody jumps on, and everybody's got to be part of the party.
Matt Hayes, we appreciate him being part of our party at Matt Hayes CFB on Twitter, Saturday down south in 1010 XL Radio in Jacksonville.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Thanks for coming on. Man, like we all thought, right, Matt, that Bama once again would blow out Georgia. You thought that too, right? No, we didn't.
Well, I didn't. I actually thought Georgia would win.
I did too.
But I think we all thought at some point it's going to come down and Stetson Bennett's going to be exposed. And I don't know, after watching the Auburn game, I think all of us were curious whether Alabama could do it or not. But, I mean, first play of the game should have been a pick 6. First play of the game. And I think when you start to look at this now, he's in his 2 years there at Georgia, he's been clearly protected by elite defenses, number one. And number two, he's played 2 teams that have defenses that are really good in Alabama and Florida. And in those 4 games against those teams, he's thrown 8 interceptions. So if I'm Brian Kelly right now, Brian Kelly talked about some brutal truths were learned, and they got to make some decisions. Excuse me. One of those decisions better be going to JT Daniels.
Do you think he should have put him in the fourth quarter?
I mean, honestly, Blaine, I think he should have put him in against Charleston Southern. Played in 3 quarters. I think he should have put him in against Georgia Tech, and so he's ready. This guy's. He should have been playing for 5, 6, 7, 8 quarters in the last month of the season.
Well,
he didn't.
I'm glad you say that because it makes me think maybe he's not fully healthy or something else. Because you're right,
we're
he
not
should
going to
have.
get into that again, are we? There's no way we're going to get into that.
I mean, why wouldn't he do that?
Last year he doesn't play in the Georgia game. The next week they play Mississippi State. He plays and he goes like 20 of 25 for 404 scores or something. And Kirby's talking about how he was injured, and JT says, no, it was a coach's decision. He wasn't injured. It's unbelievable. The blind spot Kirby has with quarterbacks is unbelievable. He's going to blow it again.
Now, I'm going to say this with a grain of salt. If he does this, I mean, if they just blow the season, will he be on the hot seat next year? I know it's hard to say that, but you know what it's all about. Hey, you got to win. They have the recruits.
Think so.
Man, I mean, he can't mess up the quarterback position again.
I mean, he can't, right? I mean, all of us have been saying that for the last 3 months. There's no way he can blow it again. But I mean, he clearly has a blind spot, man. He grew up in the Saban system where you play great defense, you run the ball, and you get a serviceable game manager, a quarterback. And for some reason, he thinks he can win that way. And the game has progressed to where you can't win that way anymore. Even Saban sees that.
Yeah. Well, Bryce Young, I guess, solidified that he is the Heisman winner. What were your thoughts on his play, let alone his offensive line?
I mean, how good is he? Seriously, number one, how
he
good
is cool customer.
He is. Man, that kid just never gets frazzled. And then the offensive line. I mean, they played so poorly against Auburn. Yep. Then they make that subtle little move. They move Chris Owens outside from center. He's now the right tackle. And all of a sudden, I mean, Georgia could not get home with 4. They got home with 4 against everybody all season. Georgia had to start blitzing. And even when they were blitzing, they were picking it up. It was the offensive line, I think, was the most amazing thing about that game.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. We're on with Matt Hayes, XL, primetime 1010 XL in Jacksonville. I guess one more for me, and that is it could be a good thing and a bad thing, but maybe it could always end in a good way with Georgia. It could be no sweeter than if they go to the national championship game and play Alabama and beat them. Which game would you have chose to win? SEC championship or the national title?
I mean, of course, but they're not doing it with Stetson Bennett. I can tell you that. I don't think they're beating Michigan. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure they're going to beat Michigan with Stetson Bennett. Michigan's pretty good on defense. Mm-hmm. They can't throw the ball, but they can run it. And if you get into a close 16-13 game with Michigan, and you got Stetson Bennett in the fourth quarter, it's 3rd and 9 with 3 minutes to go, and he's got to make a play, who are you betting on?
What's the odds on Daniels getting in the game?
I mean, he's got to play. He has to play.
All right. You can't. All right.
I mean, I was saying, we've all been saying this for 4 months, so I don't know. Like, who knows what Kirby does at this point? I don't know. It's literally one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
All right. I said one more question. Cincinnati, group of 5, is the pressure on them to win this game just because they're kind of representing all the group of 5, let alone themselves?
I think the pressure's on them to not get blown out. The pressure's on them to not lose by 5 touchdowns. Seriously.
Oh, man.
I think they have good skill guys, but the lines of scrimmage, my God, it's night and day.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem for them. That's going to be a big – not only that, here's another thing that the worst thing that could happen for Cincinnati is now Alabama realizes what it can be. Now Alabama's motivated. Now, they've heard everybody doubting them and everybody saying they suck and they're not any good and Georgia's going to beat them. And Nick just loves that. Alabama is no more dangerous than when everybody thinks the dynasty's dead. And that's when they come out and they just play unbelievable. And now they're in the games that matter. Now they've reached it. It's going to be tough for anybody to beat Alabama.
Matt, on the way out, just maybe the biggest story today, Cristobal, Miami suddenly finds millions in their COVID couch cushions and their buyout Manny and buyout Cristobal and hire him. Is he finally the guy to make Miami again? Now that they've got all this money.
What have you found in your COVID couch cushion? Have you found anything interesting?
No, nothing.
Neither have I. That's and I love the idea, but I found nothing. So here's the thing. The big thing for Miami, I think, is the fact that they have a president now who wants to spend some of the U medical money. So they have this huge medical system in South Florida. It's called UHealth. It's Miami-based, University of Miami-based. And they profited $400 million last year alone. So when Donna Shalala was there, when she was the president, her concept about the football program and spending money was you eat what you kill. In other words, if you get 25,000 people in the stadium, that's the money you get. If you get 50, that's the money you get. Now this new president is saying, no, we're going to spend money. So he's going to spend money. You know, you got the $80 million contract for Mario. You got a former player, a son of Miami, coming home. I think it's a great hire, a great recruit. He's going to keep those recruits in South Florida and Dave Broward and Palm Beach in that area. So that's a perfect fit. And then you've got this billionaire booster. I think his name is Ruiz. He's committed to build a campus stadium where Coral Gables High School is, about a mile and a half from the campus.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to move the high school and build it somewhere else. So, I mean, if you got that going for you, and you've got the one thing that everybody's always criticized Miami about as far as recruiting and why it's hard to keep guys there now, well, I mean, you got it rolling now. You've got a former player, a guy that everybody loves, a son of Miami, and you got a booster ponying up to build a brand new stadium on campus.
Matt, fantastic stuff, man. Next time we just need to visit longer. That was the only thing wrong with this one. Thanks for checking in with us today, buddy.
All right, fellas. My pleasure.
Yes, sir. Matt Hayes. You got to follow him. Matt Hayes, CFB 1010XL, 1010XL primetime in Jacksonville, Saturday down south as well. Time for us to go. Don't forget, tomorrow is Toy Field. That's our Super Bowl of goodness. We love it. We love you guys. We'll be out at Nissan Stadium all day collecting unwrapped toys or gifts for seniors. It's go time tomorrow. If you want more information, go to 1045thezone.com. Thanks to T-Mobile and Planet Fitness and Freedom Boat Club of Nashville. Blaine, it's always the most perfect day of the year. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Perfect day and cold day.
Always the coldest. Yeah, that too.
But a fun day.
For sure.
Always. And just about as fun as it is today on this beautiful day on Monday.
Already wrapped it up on this Monday.
Yeah. So we always say happy Monday.
Yes, sir.
But we always leave by saying what, Mickey?
You know it.
Peace.